I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Often random, always relevant, always real, and practically nothing is off limits. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. Welcome back to another edition of Wednesday Night Live of the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mr. Jim Alabiso. And Jim, I got to tell you, I'm excited about tonight. We've got somebody, our guest tonight is, which brings to mind the essence of leading by example. Alicia Smith, she's really, the kind of leader who really doesn't wait around for something or someone else to fix the problem. She just gets knee deep in it, literally. Alicia, welcome to the program. We're honored to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Tracy.
Alicia's an old friend.
Oh, yes. We go way
So
back.
we go way back. Yeah, we do. So I have to be careful about what I say.
Together.
What?
We went to different high schools together.
We did. That's good. I gotta remember that. Yeah. Here's a way back picture. Remember that?
Oh, I wish I still had that tan.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't have it either.
Those were good days.
We have Roger just sitting off to your right.
Mm-hmm. Follow Roger.
Follow Roger. That's right. We used to, when we were swimming in the river, right. Roger would lead the whole caravan of swimmers and kayakers, right? And we'd all say, follow Roger. Anywhere we were, even in a coffee shop, say, follow Roger. And then on the other side is Candace.
Yes.
I talked to Candace today. She's doing really great.
Sweetheart on the water.
She was something else. Still is. Anyway,
yeah.
That's one of those. But this is a picture of the. Why does this do this? What is going on with this thing?
I don't know.
Is that like a?
It's clearing up a little bit. The St. John's Riverkeeper.
Yeah. So that was the day. That was the day we met.
Yes, that was the first day. Silken, another one of the kayakers, whenever we swam in the river, we were volunteering for the St. John's Riverkeeper, and you cool cats walked up after just finishing a swim, and we just felt like celebrities because you invited us to Pele's afterwards, and we were just one of the crew, and you couldn't get rid of us.
That's fun. That was fun. Wasn't that a fun day?
Fun day.
That was the 12-mile swim, right?
Yes, I think so.
We swam from Tracy. We swam from County Dock and Mandarin to Riverside Arts Park. Yeah,
that's a good swim. That's a good swim.
Yeah. So that was 2012. So that's when we met. Back then.
So Alicia, you've always been, for the longest time that I can remember, connected to the river in one way or another. What inspired you to get so involved in these cleanup efforts that you do, McCoy's Creek, Hogan's Creek, and all these other cleanups that you're involved in?
Well, I'd have to say that the Riverkeeper is just a welcoming organization to be part of. So whenever I moved to Riverside, I was walking my dog through Willow Branch Park and I saw some trash in that creek. And whenever I was looking at a sign, there just happened to be a Riverkeeper logo on a City of Jacksonville sign. So I just took an initiative to research them and get involved. And I have not regretted that decision ever since, because I had the freedom to kind of say, hey, I want to get involved. And at the time I had befriended Sarah and Duncan, and they were very much involved in the cleanups. And they showed me these troubled tributaries, one being McCoy's Creek, and just their passion for the mission was infectious. And I was able to use that very welcome organization of the Riverkeeper to, I guess, plant my flag. And then 13 years later, still cleaning up the tributary. And it's been very rewarding.
Yeah, McCoy's Creek, I believe we met for the first time at Eco Relics when I was over there handling business for them. And McCoy's Creek being right down the street, I know that creek really needed some first aid at the time.
Yes, the way that it was kind of changed throughout time, where it was made narrow, it caused a lot of flooding for the neighbors that lived in that North Riverside area. And so just the simplest of rains would cause dramatic flooding, and cars would just be kind of like floating down the way. And it was also very neglected. There was a lot of trash dams. People would just go and just dump carloads of stuff. We have found some incredible things along that tributary.
I remember like trying to pull a shopping cart out of there.
Yep.
Bicycles that are buried in the mud.
We pulled a boat out once, about a 15-foot boat. We pulled a Diet Coke machine. We pulled the front end of a Chevy van. You would think with all these years that we would be involved, that we would kind of be done with it, but we're not. And very thankful for the restoration project that Groundwork is doing right now, Groundwork Jacksonville, and widening it so that it's not flooding that area for the neighbors. But we cannot wait to get back in those deeper waters to see what other kind of treasures we can find deep in the creek.
Yeah, I know. You were talking about, treasures. Yeah. You were talking about, the rain causing the flooding. And I remembered several times over there on Stockton Street where you cross McCoy's Creek, it being completely flooded out.
Absolutely. You couldn't even get across that little bridge right there because the water was just so high. It was so dangerous. And just imagine being one of those neighbors in North Riverside that couldn't even leave their house. So it was a tributary that needed help, and very happy that the St. John's Riverkeeper is just let me have guerrilla warfare all over it.
Do you remember when Black Creek overflowed?
Oh, yeah.
Which time?
All the time.
Candy's mom lost a house because it went up to the second floor.
Oh, wow. Was that during one of the hurricanes?
Yep, sure was. Yeah.
It's just crazy how strong water is.
I know. That's out in my neck of the woods. A lot of the little small feeder creeks and tributaries that come off of Black Creek kind of meander through Clay County, and several of them come right near where I live. And sometimes when we have a really bad it doesn't even have to be a hurricane. When there's a really bad downpour, the creek just backs up naturally so all these little small creeks back up all the way up into Clay County. And we've seen flooding. There's a creek right down the street from my dirt road that completely gets right up to the street. It's normally, the little bridge that goes over that creek is normally about 8 or 9 feet above the water line, and the water has come right up to it there.
Yes. We have a lot of work to do when it comes with not messing with waterways, and also just water, like flood prevention. I wish that Jacksonville had better plans on keeping those storm drains clear, because I know I live in Murray Hill. And whenever all those leaves from neighbors just kind of like block that storm drain, the simplest of rains will cause flooding there too. So I wish there was a better plan for our local tributaries and the storm drains that kind of connect to them.
So like, what would be a good plan? What could we improve? What could Jacksonville do to improve?
Updating them would be cleaning them out, just having an initiative to get them cleaned out first of all, and then maybe upgrading them to where there's something that actually works for the water and the amount of water that comes towards them, versus just kind of turning a blind eye. I know it's one of the things that we talk about whenever we do cleanup. If there is a storm drain near the cleanup site, send a volunteer over there. Hey, go ahead and just go to town. Use a shovel, use pickers. Use your hands.
Yeah.
Use a grenade.
If need be. Yeah. Now I know. Now, just for a second, aside from the waterways and tributaries cleanup, volunteer, activities that you're doing, and you mentioned Murray Hill. I know that you had also done some cleanup up and down Edgewood there in Murray Hill.
Yes, I was part of the Murray Hill Preservation Association. I tried for a long time to get a cleanup off of the ground, but COVID was a big factor.
Yes.
So not only a lot of people were leaving their houses, and not a lot of people were out and about. So they do have a new beautification committee and they are doing their best efforts to start that cleanup initiative again. And I'm very happy and proud to see it. Can't wait to get out there with him. But we have definitely hauled several bags of trash off of that Edgewood area that's only growing more and more popular. So it definitely needs some tender love and care.
Yeah.
There's this thing about cleaning up and cleaning up and cleaning up, but there's on the source side of it, how do we keep people from dumping crap in the creeks and the rivers and all that, and eliminate the need for cleanups, which I know is not really possible because there's always going to be somebody, but
always going to be somebody.
We can put together like a little schoolhouse rock thing, because I do feel like people are teaching the youth or have the mindset that it's job security for somebody. So you see people just kind of like open their car door and let stuff go, or just fling it out their window or throw it in the back of their truck and it flies over. But the people that are picking it up are volunteers. So it's not job security. So maybe, Jim, you could write the dialogue. Tracy can do the music. I'll do a little soft shoe, and we can redirect the narrative of people. But it's very disheartening to see somebody just throw something out, because it's not job security for someone to come pick that up. It's a blight, and it's just heartbreaking to see.
It is heartbreaking to see. And it's not just people throwing stuff in the river or throwing stuff in the waterway. A lot of it's just people throwing stuff out in the street, because we have such a big runoff problem. I'm even just by where I live, where King Street goes down to by St. Vincent's and right into the river. That's all runoff that goes there.
Right.
And a lot of those streets along the river, they have runoff sewers. They look like sewers, but they're just really runoff.
Right. The storm drain's there, but it's just going to there, and then it's just going to go straight into that river, that waterway.
Yeah.
Right. So if you throw a paper cup on the ground and we have a storm the next day, it's going to end up in the river somehow. And every bit of oil and crap that comes out of your car, when you wash it, it all ends up in the river somehow. Or underground.
So that would be nice if the city had some initiative to upgrade those. Like they have them in other cities where they have kind of like an entrapment system where they're capturing all that stuff that goes into those storm drains.
I remember from a long time ago there was some kind of initiative here for that. Yeah. I remember Jimmy Worth talking about it.
Well, it's Jacksonville. Yeah. We'll get there someday.
Never mind.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. When you talk about, the job security, basically, and it is essentially, it's all volunteer work. Now, when it comes to community engagement, and engaging young professionals and community-minded advocates, how do you get the support for your cause?
The main thing is through pushing initiatives that people want to get involved in. People really do want to participate in those cleanups. They want to participate in those conversations. So making it to where it's not 9 a.m. on a Monday morning, making it where it is kind of like a happy hour or somewhere on a Saturday that young folks, young professionals can get involved in. And they come with their energy, they come with their spunk and their questions. So whenever, it's kind of like fellowship whenever they show up, and encouraging them. It's not just here, take this, pick that up. It's, hey, this is why we're doing this. This action that we're doing is causing a chain reaction to hopefully a healthier waterway. So the best way to get people is to make it a way where they feel included, and then listen, and then maybe go have a beer afterward. That always helps.
Yeah, I know. I was at a couple of the I did a couple of the Hogan's Creek cleanups several years ago, and while it was work and it was dirty work, it was also a lot of fun. We did have a lot of fun.
Well, I think some of the organizations that come out and join us at those cleanups make them a lot of fun. We've had a couple of groups that have been like kind of steady eddies, like the Bearded Villains. They're just all these guys with these big beards. They curse every other word. but they want to come out and make a difference. And then they're like, hey, yeah, let's go have a beer afterwards. So it's not PG at these cleanups. You can come and just come as you are. And if you don't like it, say it. We definitely have had a lot of instances where it's not just hand holding and kumbaya. It's naked people in the park doing all kinds of things, and you're trying to pick up the trash around them. But yeah, it's quite.
What park is it?
Yeah, that was somewhere in Springfield.
I see. So Tracy, she's talking about young professionals, and that
Right.
kind of leaves us out.
No, it doesn't.
We're old, unprofessional.
That's
old and bad, and with bad backs.
I have a bad rib. I have a bad back. I'm over there just like, I can't do this anymore, but I still keep going. That's one of the beauties of the groups that get together to do these cleanups. It's all encompassing. It's for everybody. It's just the young professionals that host it. So it's for everyone.
Sure.
And so what do you guys do with all those damn beer cans?
You mean after the cleanup or during the ones that we find during the cleanup?
The ones that you empty into your mouths.
Well, we recycle them like good human beings, but technically we go to like local establishments. So we're drinking those beers out of nice frosty pint glasses.
Gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to clear that up.
Support the local, brewers.
Yes, and a lot of our cleanups, most of our cleanups for the Rising Tides and for definitely groundwork, we use the grain bags from a lot of the breweries. Like Ardwolf has been a major contributor in grain bags. Intuition, whenever they were over on King Street, gave us so many grain bags. Myrtle Avenue Brewing, Second Bay Brewing. So we're actually repurposing these grain bags and giving them another life. So we definitely say it's your beer dollars at work whenever we're doing these cleanups, because I have this little hand sewer. And so instead of getting new plastic bags from the city, and introducing new plastic, we're very sustainable in the fact that we use those grain bags to put the trash that we find in. And we try to go somewhere afterwards, one of those breweries, and have a beer just so we can sit down and be like, hey, did you see that one thing? And it's just great kind of come full circle. I know a lot of people, a lot of restaurants and kind of like packaging houses are trying to be sustainable. They're doing the best that they can. So it's great that they give back.
That's cool. Now, if you were to think back on some of the, these, I'll call them events, these cleanup activities, of the ones that you've done, are there some that stand out in your memory, as being more, something that, was to you an achievement? You like, let's say, for instance, you went above it. You and your volunteer group went above and beyond, and you just did a fantastic job. And at the end of the day, everybody, like you said, saying kumbaya.
I think the biggest achievement that we've had that I can say to date was the boat that we found in McCoy's Creek, because nobody was stopping until that thing came out. And we went well over the time frame that we have for the cleanups. I mean, we had people backing up their trucks to like hook up winches. We had people in waders just like digging with shovels. I mean, I had the boat like resting on my legs at one point because we'd finally gotten it up, and I'm like, I'm not letting it go back in the water. So the teamwork and the community out of that one was just absolutely, that's why I don't stop, because the people that come out and they want to see change, and then they make it happen. It just keeps you going.
So
That's cool.
When you say you don't want to stop, that kind of reminds me that, and I don't know if this is still true, Alicia, but you used to volunteer for everything.
I have gotten a lot older. That was 50 years ago, Jim.
Yeah, just checking.
I have slowed down a little bit in my older age, but I try to do everything. My job, the one that keeps my lights on, unfortunately has become a little bit more demanding on my job, on my life. But hey, if there's a moment where I can get involved and then laugh with somebody and meet a new face, and then again maybe have a dance party or a libation, I'm there. Actually, do you have a list?
Absolutely.
Do you have a list of things I can do? Because I'll be there.
Hey, I was trying to show these pictures over here, Tracy, but even it's blurring my background, but it's also blurring the images. But do you remember these images from Facebook about the fences, Alicia, over at Smith Lake Preserve? It was on your Facebook page. So, I mean, it's very cool that the water's going up over there, because a lot of those lakes dried out. But can you tell us a little bit about after the drought and the water started coming up, what those fences were for, and then what they were doing to the environment once the water came up?
Well, DuPont was pumping from, and I'm not an expert on this. This is community information, but DuPont was pumping from those lakes. There are so many lakes that are in that Clay County, Keystone Heights area, and they were pumping the water from it for their plants. So it dried it up. Those people who had lakefront or pondfront property basically were they had a sand pit. So whenever they were finally told to shut that off and to stop changing the flow of the water, they're also they created a pump where it's to capture the floodwaters from Black Creek over to Keystone as well. So they did a long pipe down 21 to cut some of that.
Is it going to Brooklyn? It's going to Brooklyn?
Yes. That's that main one that you go over right before you hit downtown Keystone Heights. So what it was is just you have all these fences where people are, I guess, basically just marking off their property. But now that the water has risen back up, people are using the waterways and the lakes again. You're able to get out there with a motorboat. You're able to get out there with a kayak. And so these fences that are now getting submerged are hazards to humans. So the removal of them and also just the raising of the level of water is fantastic for that area. The property values drop. And there's so much commerce coming into that area now because it's a thriving community.
I was just down there a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed some of the places the water was a bit higher. And then I was down in Salt Springs by Lake Kerr. Mm-hmm. And last time I was in Lake Kerr, the pilings for the dock were just stuck in the sand. But now the water, you could just dive into it now.
Wow.
On the dock.
They were also kind of given a little bit of grace whenever the water was kind of shut off from the plants because we had substantial rain. So the water tables were able to realign themselves as well.
Yeah.
So we had groundwater realigning itself, and you also had rain. So it was making it possible for those water levels to come up.
Yeah. No, I love it. It was great to see it because I have a picture of me and some friends standing on the shoreline of Lake Kerr, and there's tons of sand like at the beach. Now, if we stood in the same place, it'd be up to here.
Wow.
Well, I'm a big fan of the waterways down there. My parents live in Keystone, so we go out on Lake Santa Fe and Little Lake Santa Fe all the time on the boat.
Really?
And I mean, it's just a cannonball situation all the time.
It's beautiful over there. I swam Melrose Bay, the park over there, and then I swim through that little area there and get right out into Lake Santa Fe. And it's just so beautiful. It's a great open water swim.
It's kind of shaped like a snowman.
Yeah, there's Little Lake, Tracy, there's Little Lake Santa Fe, right. And then there's Lake Santa Fe, and then there's Melrose Bay, right? But that gets fed by what? Is that spring fed?
Spring fed, yes. You can actually feel it whenever you kind of jump in. You get those little cold blasts of deliciousness. You know you're in fresh water whenever you get a little cold blast. And unlike being in a pool when you get a warm blast and you're like, time to go, wrap it up.
I went up to Salt Springs too. There's so many people in the springs when I went over there. Right. At the Salt Springs Park. The springs the spring heads are just right there, and you can just try to dive down in and push you right back up.
Aren't they talking about limiting the boats over there in the Salt Springs and the Juniper Springs because it's kind of taken down the vibe at those areas? Have you heard anything about that?
I noticed that when I was over there, that the vibe was just kind of like gone. There was somebody actually changed They do have an area that's fenced off to preserve for seagrass and stuff over there now. But then they used to have like a rope separating it from Salt River Run there. And
I just remember the pontoon boats, and it was like this person
yeah,
had this and this
they're
person
still
had
there.
that.
It's like 7 or 8 boats. Everybody's partying.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking beer, whatever. And it just does kind of ruin the vibe. We have other springs too you can go to that still have the vibe, rainbow and all them,
Gotcha.
blue.
Didn't know if you had any intel from being down there,
What's that?
Didn't know if you had any intel from like what's the scuttlebutt around there? We hear everything like secondhand up here.
Exactly. Well, Alicia, lessons learned based on your experiences with everything that you're involved in. What key lessons have you learned about environmental conversation and community engagement, both?
Key lessons that I have learned is that technically cleanups can be illegal. So make sure you have somebody with bail money. Make sure.
Can you elaborate?
Well, so if you just go out there and do a cleanup, it could be considered as dumping. So you need to make sure that you have a nice organized cleanup and that you're doing it the proper way. So make sure that you're, not just grabbing stuff and throwing it. Make sure it's organized and on the side of the road for the city to pick up. Make sure you know.
How many times have you been arrested, Alicia?
Do what?
How many times have you been arrested or cited for dumping?
Do what? No. But I would say that one thing to pay attention to is knowing where you are. That's a lesson that I've learned. The water quality in some of these areas is not ideal. So while we appreciate, I always tell everybody, you're just already a superhuman by showing up to these cleanups. Please make sure that you're wearing protection because the water is not necessarily tested before the cleanups. So you need to wear gloves. You need to wear closed-toed shoes. I'm really sorry, but that's just the rule to be here. So that's a lesson to kind of be somebody's friend, but also there is a duty that you have to do as being a site captain or hosting these cleanups. So don't go out there for the gram because you're probably going to get hurt. Honestly, the sense of community that comes out of it is the most delicious thing ever. I have made some lifelong friends through these efforts. And I think that just getting up and going out to one of them in the morning, even though it seems like it's hot. Yeah, Mr. Alabiso. Just going out there and even though it's hot, you're going to meet some people that are like-minded and you're going to have just so much fun. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I just kind of have great memories of, I've slowed down quite a bit, but I do have great memories of those days too. It's just, there were just so many great people and there was so much fun, especially when we were doing the swims and stuff. And it was just, you made a lot of friends and you made them for life.
Yes. And those people might be the ones that have bail money.
That could be true. Definitely need those people around.
Yeah.
And also it's nice to understand when you get involved with an organization. We have so many here in Jacksonville that are trying to do the right thing, especially with the resilience.
You belong to
and the mayor's initiatives that are going on. We have a lot of people that are trying to move that green needle here in Jacksonville. By getting involved, you actually get firsthand information. And I think that's the most important thing. You get to not just read a blip, you get to hear it. You get to talk about it. You get to community about it. And I think that's another great way to stay informed.
Has any of these recent budget cuts affected any of the work we're doing, like Emerald Trail and any of the cleanups or anything?
It hasn't affected the cleanups because they are volunteer run and they get most of their supplies from Keep Jacksonville Beautiful. With that being a city adjacent organization, not a nonprofit, that hasn't affected that at all. But I do know that any of these budget cuts and these kind of moratoriums on funds, it has affected the Emerald Trail and it has affected the work that Groundwork is doing, which is the work that Riverside Avondale Preservation is doing. It's just so sad to read the work that they were gearing up to do, how it has been paused.
Yeah. So where did those budget cuts come from?
I think, I'm not an expert on this, but I do know it was kind of like top, the guy up here doing.
You're not going to name names.
No.
No, I believe that the Emerald Trail took a real hit when it came to funding recently.
It did. It really did. And
Several
it took
million.
so long to get all of that initiative, like all that planned out, all that in motion. It's so sad.
Do we need to talk to the governor?
The governor.
We just need to have a bunch of sugar daddies come along and get this thing privately funded, and then we can do whatever we want.
Tracy, you're talking about Tracy, right?
Tracy, will you be the Emerald Trail sugar daddy?
Yeah, we'll put like Tracy signs along the way.
I can certainly try.
Hey, you can.
Well, I just got to say that after decades of either, watching in person or on social media, that Alicia's done so much work for this city, and I'm just really proud of you, and we appreciate you forever.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I was trying to total up all the cleanups that I've done, and it's hard. It's definitely in the hundreds of cleanups that I've been doing over the past decade. So I was like, once I got to the hundreds, I was like, I'm not counting anymore. But I do know.
I think we owe you a beer.
I'll take it.
10. Hey, Alicia, it's been a joy having you with us today. Before we go, let me ask you, do you have any future activities planned? Do you have a vision for the future? Continue doing what you're doing, or are you going to step up your game and do something else? Where are you headed with this?
Well, I am going to continue as long as they let me, volunteering with the St. John's Riverkeeper. They've given me free reign for my chaos in the cleanup. So I'm going to continue that. It's every third weekend of the month. The next one is August 17th, which is right around the corner from my birthday. So if anybody wants to come out and party with me, see
what's happening August 17th?
August 17th is our monthly McCoy's Creek cleanup. It is from 10 to 12. We will be over at Powers Park, and there is talk of maybe restoring a rain garden that's there. So for the foreseeable future, I will be doing the cleanups with the St. John's Riverkeeper. I'm also commissioner for Keep Jacksonville Beautiful, and I do know that there are several initiatives that they are trying to get up with fighting blight. So I might step up and become more involved with that. Other than that, I'm just going to be a champion for all the people that are doing great things right now. I want to go to their cleanups. I want to fight their fights. I want to be maybe the person that has bail money for them, but I just want to continue being a champion for a cleaner Jacksonville and a cleaner waterway.
Yeah, start a bail money fund.
I have text chains that specifically say bail money. Like, is today the day?
Close.
Well,
Jim, you got any closing thoughts for us?
I think I already said it. It was like how much we appreciate Alicia and what she's done for the city. And it's not just about what Alicia does, though, because when people watch Alicia, it inspires them to work as well. Alicia is what they call in business a multiplier.
Well, I appreciate that. Yes. I'll try to continue to make you guys proud.
Yeah.
Always. And it's always a pleasure. I tell you what, Alicia, you're welcome to come back on our program anytime and talk about your initiatives that's going on and share with us, some of the comings and goings of your next cleanup. And I'll remember. Now, what's your birthday again? Because mine's on the 11th.
August 18th is my birthday, but we're doing a cleanup on August 16th at Powers Park. 17th? There might be cake. Okay. I don't know.
Well, we'll think, Jim and I will definitely think, I hope Jim will, on the 18th to wish you a happy birthday.
Fingers crossed.
Will you still be a young professional after your birthday?
Every single time I'm out of the young professional game, they up the age limit. So I'm a geriatric in the young professional group, and they just won't let me go.
No way.
I'm done. Just let me be part of the group. I'm still here. I'm still going to be involved, but I don't think I can attach the name Young Professional to my my business card anymore.
It's just a number.
Well,
Thanks,
guys, it's been
Alicia.
great talk. It's been great talking to both of you, and we'll see you on the next round.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode of the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Big thanks to our guests, and big thanks to you for tuning in. You can find us on all of the social media channels, wherever you are. If you like what you heard, drop us a line in the comment section below, like, share, and smash all the subscribe buttons. New episodes drop weekly. Until then, take care of yourself and take care of your people. Peace.